Goals, goals can be a lot of fun. Goals are great. They can really give you a lot of energy and a lot of drive and make life exciting and interesting. But let me ask you something: could you still be happy even if you didn't accomplish your goal? Even if you came up short? Even if all of a sudden life happened and something came up that just made your goal, the outcome of your goal, out of the realm of possibilities, could you still be happy and be at peace with your life? Well, I remember when I was younger, and for a lot of my life, I used to fantasize over, growing up, being this, having this rich and famous lifestyle. I used to fantasize over, growing up with mansions and Lamborghinis and the Ferraris, and that's just, what I fantasized about when I was younger for a lot of my life. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong about that, but that gave me a lot of drive for a lot of my life, and because of that, I worked really hard, and I got into self development, self improvement, and I remember always hearing about the concept of spirituality, in the self development books and so forth, and but to me, that was like the bottom priority. I'm like, all right, yeah, I gotta, be spiritual and so forth, but I just want to become successful and accomplish all my wildest dreams, and I'll do the whole spiritual thing later. And I worked really hard, and I was able to achieve a lot of success in my life at a young age. But then things happened in my life where I ended up losing everything. And I remember I was sitting right about here with my daughter, and she was I think about 1 year old at the time. And I was financially destitute. I had lost everything, and I remember just feeling so frustrated in my life. And I remember just looking out, and I just was like, why? Why is this happening to me? I don't get it. I've tried so hard in my life. I did all the right things. Made the vision board. I did the self-improvement courses and books, and wrote down my goals every month. Why is this happening to me? And I couldn't understand it. It was like I was trying to fill up a bathtub with water with the drain unplugged. It was like, the harder I tried to fill it up, the quicker it just drained out. And while I was sitting here with my daughter, I remember for some reason just some sense came over me, just telling me to let go, just to let go of control, just let go. And I know that may sound cheesy or whatever, but that's the truth. And from that moment forward, my life started to change, and I started to go inwards, and I started to research. That was the beginning of my spiritual journey, and researching about spirituality, and my life slowly started to change. Instead of being just driven and motivated by the outcome that I would achieve, I started to find the joy and the beauty of in the journey. That success is the journey, not the destination. And I started to realize that it was okay, even if I didn't accomplish my goals. I realized that, hey, it's great to set goals and fun, but it's okay. Even if I don't accomplish it, no matter what happens, it's okay. I started to realize to be grateful for what I had while I was pursuing what I wanted, and I started to realize that a lot of my problems were stemming from my ego. In my desire to fuel my ego, that all these materialistic things that I wanted, and statuses and achievements were really just to fuel my ego, and to make me feel like I was worth something, so that I could show other people, hey, you know what, I made it. But all that was just for my ego. And as I started to realize this and become aware of this, and how much my ego was causing so much frustration in my life, then and started to go inwards instead of always just looking outwards, then that's when my life really began to change. And it's funny, as my spiritual journey continued, it was like slowly but surely my desire for all these materialistic goods and external statuses and achievements just started to slowly dissipate. And instead of wanting bigger, better, louder, I started to find more appreciation in the simple things in life, and I found myself just wanting to minimalize my life, and I found the joy in just living a simple life. That's kind of the funny thing about the spiritual journey. As you go in this spiritual journey, you just you find yourself you typically find yourself finding joy in less, and finding peace in just living a simple life. But what I found is most interesting about the whole thing is that as I started to let go of my ego and my need to fulfill my ego's needs, and just focused on the quest of going inwards, and letting go of my addiction to the needing to control the outcome. What's most interesting is I found that a lot of things in my life just started to fall into place. That suddenly, my businesses started to take off, my financial situation finally started to improve, and a lot of different opportunities started to appear in my life that weren't there before. And it was kind of like, wow, as soon as I, finally, when I stopped being, so ferociously trying to, get all these things, all of a sudden all these things just started to fall into place in my life. That's what's, that's what's really funny about life, But the biggest thing is that, I would have been okay even if they didn't. Even if I lost everything, right? I'm so grateful for everything that I have in my life. I'm blessed for the businesses that I have, and my family and my friends, and the opportunities that are in front of me. But even if I lost everything, I would, I'm at a place in my life now where I'd be totally at peace with it. And I know that may be hard to believe or sound crazy, but I'm just at a place now where I'm okay. And don't get me wrong, it's not like I've completely gotten rid of my ego. Our ego, I think, is always a part of us. I'm not sure if we can ever get rid of it completely. But through the process, I've learned to become more aware of my ego, and just recognize that it's a part of me, and recognizing that I have the choice in what I want to feed. Would I rather feed my ego, which will, can be fun and exciting, but can be really hard to keep up with because of the fact that your ego always wants more. There's never enough. No matter what the accomplishment is, it's never enough, and the ego always has a hard time of seeing your self-worth. Or I could choose to focus on spiritual growth, and really getting to know my soul, and getting to know myself as a person, and explore my curiosity about this world, regardless of the status and the materialistic goods that I had, and what other people thought about me. And what I found is that as I went inwards instead of just focusing outwards, is that my life has been filled with a lot more peace. And now over the past couple of years, I've just found this consistent level of peace throughout my life, where it's like my highs aren't too high and my lows aren't too low, and I'm just operating from a consistent level of peace, which I'm really grateful for. And I've just it's been quite the journey, and so I just want to share this because I know, and I see a lot of people who they remind me of myself, and how much driven they are by the ego. That they want to lose weight, but it's not because they really want true health. It's just because they want a six-pack, or they want to become successful in business. They want to build up their business and everything just because they want to make money, and they want to become a six-figure income earner. But and they want to be able to have all these fancy things, but it's not about peace of mind and so forth. And so I know it's all part of the journey, and we're all on our own journey. And I'm not saying that there's wrong with materialistic goods. Nothing wrong with having nice things. I mean, if you work hard, and then certainly you deserve to have good things if that's what if you feel is right for you. But just to take some time to recognize that it's okay. It's totally fine if you don't accomplish your goals, and to try to get to that place in your life where you can set goals. Goals are great, but be at peace. Make sure that you can still be happy even if you don't achieve the goals. Work hard. Sure. Take that action. Action is such a necessary part of the journey. But be okay even if things don't work out. It's okay either way. Life is still beautiful. Be grateful for what you have while you work towards what you want. And a lot of times you'll find, as you start to let go, like I was saying, of your need to control things, and you let go of your ego, you'll probably find that things just tend to start flowing in your life more effortlessly, and that things just start to fall into place on their own. So yeah, guys, life is beautiful. It's the journey is amazing. Love this view out here. Beautiful, the Bay of Dunedin, Florida. Come out here to do my reflections. So I hope you all having a great day. And until next time, guys, let's make it a great day, a great week, a great month, a great year. Let's make it a great life. See ya.